I want to talk about a big component of aging. It's kind of a funny way of saying it, but the issue or the question or the wonderful thing, depending on how you look at it, longevity. Okay, so as we age and we live longer, what impact is that having on caregiving?
So we are living longer, a third longer than we thought we would. Living to the age of 90 is no longer a stretch. So here's what's interesting. When I wrote my first book, caregivers, for the most part, family members were in their 40s and their parents were in their 60s. Now the caregivers are aging alongside their parents. And they're looking back and they have children and other people that they're concerned with. So now we have the new aging family. What this means in terms of longevity is the caregiving never ends.
It never ends, and it might be that there's a different approach required, because in your extending everyone's age example, if the child is 65 and the parent is 85, well, what if the 65-year-old isn't really in a position to help or doesn't know what to do, and then you have somebody who's isolated and alone? I mean, there's a lot of challenges there.
Oh, it's a whole different ball game. So we have to look at it from a different perspective. When we are caring for people who are older than us, we are working two games at the same time, their care and our care. And we can't put our care in jeopardy.
Well, there have been studies done, financial studies done, that look at the impact on the caregiver, the impact on them and their accumulation of their own money for retirement, and also studies done looking at the health. And caregivers are very often worn out, they suffer financially, but also physically. So how do we create a balance of being that caregiver for mom and dad and taking care of our own needs, and not even talking about their own family, their spouse and their children, the grandchildren?
The first thing I suggest is that the caregiver, the 65-year-old or 40 to 65, gets their money house in order. The biggest mistake they make is they start spending their own money and they jeopardize their own retirement. That's just evidence that they don't have enough information. Go to a financial planner, go to an attorney, get your own house in order first, then proceed with what needs to be done and what can be affordable for the entire family. So this is the first thing. Don't be throwing that money around until you understand what the big picture is. And the big picture is our loved ones can live easily 90, 100 years old. That's never been the case in our lives.
So look at the caregiver, the child's financial situation, and maybe looking to protect. That's a little bit like, you know, in the event of emergency, masks will fall out of the ceiling. Put your own mask on first.
Right.
Okay. So assess your own situation and how you're going to be able to be a caregiver and support that person, but also looking at their resources and how you can deploy them so that it doesn't impact you as much. Because it's still going to impact you. It's really a question of how you can minimize it.
Right. But the difference with caregiving today is we have got to protect our own longevity. Now, how long will we last? If people today are living to 90, it's not a stretch to maybe think about maybe 100. No
That's
problem.
My goal.
Okay, good.
If you would like more information about the topics and our guests featured in this series, please visit our website at planstrongertv.com. Also, if you have a question you would like David to answer, please send it to questions@planstrongertv.com.